In July of this year, Petra reached out to me to design her brand from scratch. After our initial discovery call, I knew this project was going to be so much fun and a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I was so excited. So here's the story as to how Petra's brand, Create More Possibilities, came to life in less than just 2 weeks. After our initial discovery call on July 9th of 2024, I learned so much about Petra's brand, and I really got to hear and feel the passion behind what she does. Her mission is to help queer nonprofit leaders align their liberatory values with their liberatory actions. I just knew she was so passionate about what she does, and that's one of the things I look for and love in my clients is when I can feel and see the passion behind what they're doing. And I also was able to hear the design visions and goals from Petra and collaborate with her on that to come up with a really fun idea that I'm super excited to share with you guys. On July 19th of 2024, we officially locked in the project after receiving the initial deposit, and it was time to jump into the branding. So here's how the entire design of the brand played out. So I knew after talking to Petra that she really wanted to have a bright, fun, and quirky brand, and I was so excited to work on that. But as you guys may know if you've been here before, it's a little bit different for me because typically I design very minimal and simple brands, but I was so excited to step out of my comfort zone and get in touch with a fun and bright brand. So the first thing that I do in the brand strategy is really sit down with those brand keywords, the mission statement, the color palettes, and I like to come up with the brand illustrations at this time. This entire phase, the goal is to get on the same visual page to make sure that I'm seeing exactly what she's seeing, and also to get some direction on how to move forward from here. I used to do the brand icons during the logo design phase, but I've learned over time that having that before the logos can really help add elements to the logo design and also can kind of help get my creative mind really started when it comes to how to really bring the brand together through simple submarks and elements without having to need a whole lot of type and content around it. So it's really helped me kind of get the ball rolling, and I also like to understand the client's style and vibe at this point in the process. So because of that, I typically will write out 4 different illustrations that I want to create, and I take that and I go into the app Procreate on my iPad and I draw them out. So I already knew that I wanted to create something that really represented igniting, a fire, and also just some funkiness. I know that she really wanted me to play around with maybe using like a swear word in there just to bring her personality out and to make it feel like you can be so unapologetically you, and that was the overall goal with the brand icons. So after I drew those out and designed those and sent it over to Petra to get her feedback, I was able to show her all the things. So the color palette, the brand icons inside of like a pattern, the overall direction, the photography, I'm talking everything. I went over it all in this presentation, and she took the time to send over a video recording to me to walk through the edits and maybe changes she'd like to see. So we were already on a really good path and pretty much aligned. There was just a few changes that we needed to make, and I was super excited to make them. One of my favorite things is when I send over a brand and they love it and they start to collaborate with me with different ideas. It's so fun to me when you can really get an idea of what the client wants and also bring that vision to life. So it was awesome to get some feedback from her and understand a little bit more about her personality to really bring that through in the brand illustrations. So this was the final brand strategy portion of the project. We loved everything, the colors, the icons, everything was perfect. So it was now time to move on to the logos. So for all of my clients, I provide 3 logo concepts, but within each concept, I provide 3 variations of the logo. We have the primary logo, secondary logo, and submark logo. So I created 3 concepts for Petra and was really excited about how this was all coming together. Like I said, this is a little bit different for me. It's a little bit more bright and fun and funky, but I had a lot of fun putting this together. So this is how the logos looked when I first sent them over. She also did let me know that the mushroom icon is sort of her mascot and something that she uses a lot. So I kept that in the back of my mind in terms of using that as the main element in the logo design. and something that we can really use to create like a submark and something recognizable without having to use fonts and type around it. So I kept that in mind the whole time. But this was the initial round of logos I sent over to her. So to get feedback from my clients on the logo designs, I send over a type form with questions and sort of to get them thinking about what feedback to provide me that's going to help me in the process. And she really loved concept 1. So that was super exciting to me because I knew that with being drawn to a certain concept, we can really hone in on that, make the changes, and make it absolutely perfect. But she also loved the layouts of some of the other concepts, so sometimes that happens where we combine things and take away things that maybe we do and don't like, and that's totally fine. So I was able to make the changes and send that over to her, and this is what those changes look like. Something that's really helped me when I send these over to my clients is to make sure I'm labeling them properly so it's easy for them to refer to things if they want to just call out the number of the concept. But she was able to screenshot the one she likes most and send it over to me so that we could finish packaging it up and really making this a full brand identity. This brand project was designed in less than 2 weeks. I sometimes will offer a branding in a week project. This isn't something I always do, but I was kind of experimenting with it, playing around with it to see if I can turn a brand around in about 5 days. Now, it did take a little bit longer than that just because of a few additional collateral pieces that we created. However, I feel we got most of the project done within 5 days, which was so crazy and awesome. And I really did enjoy doing that. However, I think I prefer to take my time with branding projects and really not put a lot of pressure on the client to decide really quickly, especially when it comes to branding, because there's so much to think about and you want to make sure that you want to use it on everything. And sometimes you have to sleep on that to kind of make that final decision. But we nailed the logo pretty quickly with this project, so the branding in a week worked perfectly. So after I got those screenshots from Petra on the ones that she likes and the ones we want to work on for the full brand identity, I worked on packaging those up and creating them in all the different colors. So I not only want to deliver all the logos and all of the different colors of the color palette, but I also wanted to deliver the brand icons in all of the colors. So packaging things up can kind of take a little bit of time because you want to make sure that the color combinations look nice. And also during this part of the process, I'm working on making sure that we have a good font palette that she can use outside of the logo, because I don't always like to use the same exact font in the logo in the main brand identity. So I also worked on that and sent that over to her to get feedback. But at this point in the process, I was really working on packaging everything up, exporting everything in every single color, and also putting together the final branding guidelines. I use the same sort of layout and template for my branding guidelines. I just like to make it feel more custom to that specific brand. So I changed the cover photo, I changed the back photo, and I also will change sometimes the fonts inside and overall just make it feel like their own brand guideline. I don't want it to feel like it's the same template that another brand's getting. At the end of the day, they're all very custom to that client. So I really worked on making this feel like the Create More Possibilities brand. And like I had mentioned, I also provide collateral pieces for my clients. So collateral pieces are things like business cards, social media graphics, flyers, presentations, whatever it is, something that you can throw the branding on and use in a real life situation. So I give my clients a list of collateral pieces they can choose from, and she chose the presentation slides as well as social media graphics. So I was working on that, and this is kind of what it looked like. I was having so much fun making a presentation feel more like the new branding, and also putting together those social graphics that I would envision for her Instagram. So I was having so much fun doing this, and we kind of collaborated on it a little bit, but at the end of the day, it came out so nice, and I'm so excited to see her using it in real life. So this is how the brand guideline looked when I finished putting it all together. It was so fun to see all the colors working together and complementing each other. And I really feel that it portrayed that kind of Lisa Frank vibe that we were going for. We wanted a very playful feel and bright feel while also being very clear in terms of like what it is that she is doing and how she teaches people and shows up. So it was so much fun to put this together. But this is how the brand guideline looked, as well as the presentation slides and the social media graphics. So once I had everything ready to go, I packaged it all up for her on a Google Drive folder where I organized the PNG files, SVG files, and also put the brand guideline in there and the font files. All of the things that I worked on, I put it in the Google Drive and send it over to her. And at the end of my branding guideline package, I do have a link where they can go and directly open up that Google Drive folder. So I like to let my clients know that they should typically download all those files and save them to their computer, back it up, because at the end of every year, I typically like to clear out my Google Drive and start fresh. I always back things up just in case, but I always like to let them know that they should download it so that they have everything organized just like how I did on the Google Drive. Overall, this project was so much fun and it was a very quick turnaround. I was super excited and impressed with how we were able to collaborate and connect so quickly. And I'm really excited to see her using this in real life. Like I said, I know I've said that a lot, but this was just such a brand that was very unique to me and different. So I had a ton of fun with it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit more about the process from talking to the client to getting feedback, collaborating, and creating a final brand identity. It's been so much fun, and if you want to see more in depth of any of the parts of the process, just let me know and I can make a video about that. But before we go, I wanted to mention that if you want to see any part of the branding process in more depth, or if you want more questions answered, then be sure to go check out my graphic design community, where I post new weekly tutorials on behind the scenes of client projects like this in more depth, and also design tips, how to use Adobe Illustrator, how to do marketing in business, all the things. Be sure to go join that community if you want to learn more. I'd love to have you in there. I'll have it linked right down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, I would appreciate it so much if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one.